plus 19 with urban voters, plus 18 with college-educated voters, plus 13 with suburban women, and plus 25 with voters who were double haters who did not like Biden or Trump. Those have now gone plus 25 to Kamala Harris.
I want to talk about is that
that's weird.
Whatever the strategy is now, it is working. So Kamala Harris is now running either tied or ahead in national polling. Same in the swing states. Her favorability, not just up 8 points, it's up 12 points. While Donald Trump has gone down 5.
She's the next
Don't
Obama.
do it.
She's going to win.
And J.D. Vance has gone down 8 points.
I'm so nervous. Kamala Harris, the next Barack Obama.
God, can they cope any harder? I mean, Jessica Tarlov being able to finish a single sentence in the lion's den on any given day is a huge accomplishment. But yesterday, after a slew of polls pointed towards a Kamala Harris surge, as well as notable GOP Mayor John Gillis crossing party lines to endorse the vice president over his party's own cult leader, you knew it was going to be a tall task.
Jesse's point that people don't think that Donald Trump is weird. You listen to these rallies where he's talking about sharks getting electrocuted. No, you could say that. If you are not a diehard Trump supporter, the late, great Hannibal Lecter doesn't resonate.
Got him. We fucking got him.
The sharks, the weird stuff about batteries. Like, Donald Trump is not a normal human.
With news breaking that Kamala Harris's favorability among American voters rose significantly in the week since she declared she would run to replace Joe Biden as a Democratic nominee for president, we have seen some next level meltdowns on the Murdoch network as they try to grapple with reality, which we know they struggle with at times.
We're not afraid of weird people.
Really? That's it? That's what it's come to from a party that promotes this? And I guess this is not weird for the Biden-Harris administration.
Right.
From Stephen Miller yelling while maintaining that distinct monotone drone in his voice.
They held a primary. People, they had ballots. They filled out circles. They went to the voting booths. They spent money on advertisements.
The must-see takedowns of Kamala Harris's policy positions, like too much joy.
Here's just one reason that voters seem to detest Kamala Harris. You decide.
Yeah, if you look closely at Project 2025, they're likely drafting legislation to limit a woman's right to laugh.
And the other side, they try and take everything that's good about us and demean it. Kamala Harris smiles. She laughs. She dances. She has joy. She's alive. And they try and ridicule her for that.
But on Fox News The 5, prominent Liberal voice Jessica Tarlov attempted to relay the brass tacks of what is happening across the country. And it went as well as you could imagine.
I want to talk about is that
that's weird.
Whatever the strategy is now, it is working. So Kamala Harris is now running either tied or ahead in national polling. Same in the swing states.
Michigan registered voters put her and the former president at 49% each. That's 3 percentage points better than President Biden was performing. In Minnesota, the presumptive Democratic nominee is up and has a 6-point advantage there. They are both tied at 49 in Pennsylvania. And former President Trump has a 1-point lead in Wisconsin. Those results are comparable with the Trump versus Biden numbers.
Her favorability, not just up 8 points, it's up 12 points. While Donald Trump has gone down 5.
She's the next
Don't
Obama.
do it.
Enthusiasm. We know that Democrats are suffering from low enthusiasm, so enthusiastic about voting. So this is Democrats for Biden or Harris. Look at this. Back in February, just 62% of Democrats said they were enthusiastic about voting for Joe Biden. Look at this now. Woof. Up to 88% now say that they are enthusiastic about voting for Kamala Harris. That is a huge jump. That is a 26-point jump. Look at Trump during the same stretch. Republicans for Trump. It was 80% in February. Look, it's still fairly high at 82%. But compared to February, where Trump had this 18-point advantage, now we see Harris with a 6-point advantage. It's definitely for Democrats. Game on. They are very enthusiastic. We see it in the money being raised. We see it in the volunteer sign-ups. And now we're seeing in the polling as well.
She's going to win.
And J.D. Vance has gone down 8 points.
I'm so nervous.
Democratic enthusiasm is up 26
But she's only
points.
doing one thing. She's reading speeches.
Why are you saying, oh my God?
Because I'm like, we have to tease.
She's going to win. Oh my God.
Yeah, because we have to tease.
Kamala Harris, the next Barack Obama. It's a cultural phenomenon. How do we stop her, Brian?
All right.
Now, they can deny, deflect, and diminish all they please, but it doesn't make it any less true. The momentum of Kamala Harris's campaign is only getting stronger. Hell, don't listen to me. Take it from Trump's vice presidential nominee.
All of us were hit with a little bit of a political sucker punch. The bad news is that Kamala Harris does not have the same baggage as Joe Biden because whatever we might say, Kamala Harris is a lot younger, and Kamala Harris is obviously not struggling in the same ways that Joe Biden did.
Candid comments there, and they may just be an accurate assessment of how much Biden dropping out of the race has shaken things up, truly.
Hence why when asked point blank during an interview with Laura Ingraham, Mr. Anytime, Anyplace was far from bullish in his response to whether he would debate her or not.
I want to do a debate, but I also can say this. Everybody knows who I am, and now people know who she is. She's a radical left lunatic. She'll destroy our country. She wants open borders.
And why not debate her?
Well, wait. But because they already know everything.
Anyone not taking their cues from a $60 God Bless America Bible could see that he is frightened. It's as obvious as J.D. Vance's eyeliner. He's clearly been paying attention to what is happening across the country. And listen, it's one thing to have around 500 golf carts parading through the Villages, a retirement community in a notoriously deep red central Florida, in support of Kamala Harris for president, but to then have that followed up with the unprecedented endorsement from a Republican mayor of Mesa, Arizona.
Let's talk about the why. Why you are supporting Kamala Harris and rejecting Donald Trump, who is a Republican. What is the reason that you find her to be the preference and the preferred candidate over even Trump?
Well, I think that there's a minimum bar for elected officials in this country, and having to do with character, having to do with commitment to the rule of law and the Constitution. And I don't feel like Mr. Trump gets over that low bar. And at the same time, I do think that the vice president is a good alternative. The contrast between the two of them is stark, and President Trump does not compare well. There are many issues that, again, being a Republican, I differ with the vice president on. But what to me is the compelling reason to support her is that I don't question that at the top of her agenda is what is in the best interest of the United States. I honestly can't say that I think that's the case with Mr. Trump.
And then on top of all that, have your own family member go live on The View to voice their disdain for you and support for your opponent.
I believe in policy over politics.
Yeah.
And without question, Kamala Harris's policies are what I get behind. So I will be voting for Kamala Harris. And if I'm asked, I will campaign for her without hesitation. Trump way. Complex and sometimes cruel. And within every family, people know this, families are complicated. Every family has their crazy uncle. My Uncle Donald is atomic crazy. And he has put his mark on the family history.
Atomic crazy?
Yes.
What's that mean?
Means he does things that even as much as I know him, when he's out there now, I sort of shudder and say, is this the same guy I knew? What's making him change? What got him this way?
I mean, it hasn't been a week to remember for Donald Trump.
Is that they've got 1 week after that convention, 1 week and a couple of days before Labor Day. And that's going to be, I think, attitudes by Labor Day are going to be really important. So she needs to come blowing out of that convention in Chicago and showing big crowds and lots of enthusiasm. Trump, he has difficulties too. He's got to frame Harris. He's got to find the right message to go after her because as Lucas said, we've got 101 days as of today, and he's got to get back in control of the dialogue. He is clearly in a subordinate role here. He feels uncomfortable with it, I suspect, and he likes being in the guy who's setting the tempo of the campaign, and that's not happening. Think about this, Neil. 9 national polls since Joe Biden announced on the 19th that he's not running. If you take those 9 polls, it is Trump by 0.88. That's basically 0.9%. And that's after he gets the bump coming out of the convention that really showed a unity for the Republican ticket in the Republican Party. And so this is going to be a barn burner, and it's very much up for grabs. And the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be critical for both camps.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.